The guitar shop pyramid. We're going to talk about all the different types of guitar shops that you come to love, get scared of, maybe hate a bit. No, it's all about loving this one. So stay tuned. Casino Guitars come at you hard and fast. Guitar shops, all you need to know. Hey, it's me, Baxter.
And me, Jonathan.
We're gonna have a fun time here. Saddle up, this might take a while. We're gonna break down all the different types of guitar shops, from the smallest little one to the major megacorp.
It's
like
true.
Umbrella Academy style.
Yep.
God, I love that type. So let's just get right into it.
Right in.
Number one, guitar shops. Like, let's just begin with and this is, again, doesn't matter where they're on the scale. Some of these are the best, even if they're the first ones we mentioned. Let's start with pawn shops.
Ooh.
Pawn shops, I'd say, is sort of like the entry level into the guitar universe. They sell guitars, lawnmowers, shotguns.
Stolen tools. It's
I was going to say stolen computers.
Whatever.
I'm a huge fan, I think Derek is too, of hardcore pawn.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I that's on my feed now. I love old episodes of that. Well, he and I actually went there when we were in Detroit visiting with Echo Park Guitars. He got an autographed book. The dude came out. He looks exactly the same. He's got this beautiful. It was a magical moment in a weird way.
All right.
But you can find the pawn shops they'll have great guitars sometimes, terrible guitars sometimes. It's a great place to. So you go in there and just test your foot in the water and see like if you like these little guitars.
I've got some really cool guitars from pawn shops.
I know, and they're really cool for like the real collectors and stuff, and like the
Right.
guys. You might find a hidden gem. It's one of the last few places, and if you want to negotiate, it's a negotiating heaven.
Yeah.
It's like that's not really what we do as much. That's what pawn shops are there for.
The internet sort of ruined it.
It did kind of ruin it a bit because now pawn shops they'll overprice a lot of it, but still, it's super fun. And
You get to, use your Google to get the price tag because they put it right on the guitar.
And then sometimes
best part.
what's fun in pawn shops, I've learned this too, and I'm not going to give away too many secrets, but they have a code on the price tags. And if you can figure out the code, you can figure out how much they have paid for the guitar,
Right.
how much they have in on it. It's on that, because people at a pawn shop can't be guitar experts in everything.
No.
Some pawn shops at the elevated level have guitar experts.
Yeah, there are some who know, or they've just been doing it long enough that they start to get an idea of what's
Or even that
desirable
place
and
we
what's
went in
not.
Fayetteville when we were looking to buy that guy's estate of guitars. It didn't work out, but it was in the back of like a gun shop and pawn stuff, and it was fun. Pawn shops are adventures,
Yes.
and it can.
I think they're
that's
fun.
like going to estate sales, that's not a guitar shop, so it's not on this list, but really fun. Okay, moving on. We've got their basic mom and pops.
Yeah.
And we're going to use mom and pops to categorize because, I'd put us in a mom and pops in a certain way, but not really. But I like to call that mom and pops that doesn't carry any major brands.
Right.
So this is the first, this is sort of number two here. So there's lots of shops. I think you've worked at some too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Down in Charleston and whatnot. Yep. And, they used to be all over the country. We had one called Pinding Music in town here. It was wonderful. We had Billy's Music, which was also wonderful.
Yeah.
Mainstays of the town, the community. You get your B&O there, sometimes your band and orchestra. You can go there and get picks. You can hang out and be picking and grinning all day.
That's right.
As people used to smoke in them. It was awesome.
Yep.
Not that I'm encouraging smoking. I'm an anti-smoker and don't like it, but it was cool. You walk in there.
Gonna say if you don't want to be cool, it's fine. But
well, there's a bunch of old dudes just
don't
sitting there.
smoke.
Yeah.
Don't vape either.
Vaping is
Stop
way
vaping.
stupider. No offense if you're a vapor.
Yeah, I mean, sort of.
Put the cigarette in there. Just be a man. But no, you go into these old shops, you see a bunch of dudes like hanging out. It's always dudes, like playing guitar and talking stuff, like talking trash, and it was cool. You want to be part of that club.
Yeah,
I wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, a lot of times there's a teaching element to these, right? Like a lot of times lessons are a big part of.
Well, that's the triple threat of all mom and pop
Right.
basic guitars in the beginning, and how it used to be. It was a guitar shop, teaching studio, and
Repairs.
And that's those three pieces had to go together hand in hand to make a guitar shop financially viable.
Yeah.
Because because there's gonna be days where you don't sell a pack of strings, let alone a guitar. There's gonna be a month where you might not sell a guitar of any substance, and if a guitar of substance to that shop might be $200 to $300.
I think there was a point where a lot of those shops that was like selling a guitar was a thing, You
Yeah,
didn't
so
sell
it's a big
guitars
deal.
every day, right? Especially if you sold, like if you had your handful of nice guitars, they'd hang on the wall for it ever, essentially.
Right. And that's just sort of becomes like the showpiece. Oh, they have that. They have a Fender Player Series. Like, and that's
Yeah.
like, and that's the big, and that's cool.
It is cool.
And like, you gotta remember too, like if they sell a $250 guitar, that doesn't really pay the bills in any way. It's just, there's not, margins aren't built that way. It has to be that plus lessons, plus repairs.
That's right.
To keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And that type, and these are, I would look at that as one of the more important categories of what we're going to talk about.
Right. For sure.
As far as that's what sort of lives in your community. It used to, at least, and they've been sort of choked out by some of the ones we'll get to later. But that's it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Now you got your mom and pops, phase 3, that do have some of the majors, or have focused on a great used inventory.
Yeah.
And actually have a serious guitar and not just like everything, but maybe focusing guitar wise, and have some really good inventory in there.
Right.
That sort of became the new bread and butter.
Right.
But again, they're suffering too because of the choking out of that in this strange economy.
Yeah. Sadly, both of those are sort of going. We used to find them in maybe not the phase, the next evolution of it, but you'd see them everywhere, and now it's less and less. Lots of communities with no music stores.
No, and there used to be used to always be like a music store. There's like a small grocery store, and like it's fun. Like carry the majors has become such a daunting task now. Like there's certain buy-ins that are required, and like just boom. And now that the majors are also selling direct as a competitor to you, you have to be careful if you're carrying like Squires and sort of entry level, the Mexican pieces that are built there, like the Player Series and whatnot. Like Players is the top almost of that. But like, you have to be careful that they're gonna not undercut you. And it's tricky for them. So that's a tricky spot. Now we're jumping in to sort of the strong indies, the independents that have sort of grown past that phase. They have either a lot of great boutique stuff.
Yep.
They have some of the majors. Not all. They really focus.
Right.
Usually on, like most of them focus just on guitars.
Yeah.
That we'll get into. I'd sort of almost put us into this category right now.
I think we fit in that category.
I'd like to be in the next one. We're scraping,
one of these days,
we're scraping
maybe.
and clawing to get there. We're scraping. We gotta look through. Do you remember back in gym when we were like kids and they'd have a rope in the gymnasium, like, all right, climb it to the top.
We never had to do that.
I remember doing that as a kid. And there's no mat. There's nothing to fall down. If you fall, you fall. That's kind of how I feel this category lives in too, because there's a lot of inventory,
right?
A lot of money in it, and then these this is where you have hundreds of thousands to sort of millions of dollars in inventory at this point.
Right.
Not like 10 million, but millions of on sitting stock that's ready to go find homes, like puppies.
Yeah.
So these shops don't have to focus on the same triple threat the same, and you don't have to have lessons. You don't have to have a luthier shop. You can just sell guitars.
Well, oddly, you almost get to a point where those things are bad. They're not bad, but they're, they're taken away from that focus of, hey, let's sell all this inventory that we have, because you can become too sort of spread thin on those other things. We've sort of seen ourselves cut back on.
We had to pull back
both things,
on the luthiership. We had to sort of
yeah.
pivot some with how we have a lesson studio as well, which is fantastic. But it's like, we have to sort of, it's almost separated.
It used to be just we were all the things.
Everything is, now it's like two different things.
Right.
And that's just how it needs to be. It's a cool one to be in. And this is the neat part where you're interacting with all the manufacturers a lot. You're interacting with like the used market amazingly, and like you have a great relationship with other shops too. Like this is where you sort of you pop your head out and like, whoa, we're all friends now, and we all want to work together to make sure people can get guitars, like from guitar shops that take care of people and the guitars. It's like it's not just we're weird, like we don't look at these as SKUs or products. We look at these as guitars still. It's a problem. Like I love it when a new guitar comes in. We all sort of gather around when the custom shops show up. When when we see Core PRSs show up, when we got like the new custom Martin come in, we'll all get around it, open it slowly, and we're like, no, we're always like, yeah. So it's a fun group to be in. So it's now past this, you have what's often called in the industry, like from the manufacturer side, the key accounts. And these are like the key, like the really big indies. Like I'm gonna look at like Wildwood Guitars.
Wildwood comes to mind first.
Chicago Music Exchange.
Right.
Music Zoo. Like some like the really, Music Villa type of stuff. Like the
Behemoths.
the big ones that might have an account manager assigned just to them and like a couple other shops. Like we have all of our account managers like have for some of the for our big huge accounts. They only deal with a few people. Like our key reps as they call them. But these guys might just have 1, 2, or 3 shops that are under their watch.
Because of the volume that they're doing,
And what's fun too is like if you look at the history of Wildwood, which we're gonna do a whole video on this one day. Steve's gonna let me, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna go out there and bother him. But I mean, he started off teaching, as we did too at Casino Guitars. That was it's just kind of neat that was the beginning, and getting guitars for your students. That's exactly how this started. It's kind of cool. But these are shops that have such a worldwide reach.
Right.
Yes, do we sell globally? But these shops really sell globally.
Like legitimately.
Like CME and Andertons are doing collaborations on like builds with Fender together. And it's like, there are always pieces going overseas and whatnot. They're like, oh, we don't do that. Yeah, you do that. It's okay. Everyone does it, sorry. But we see what's happened. Certain ones you're not supposed to, and we don't do that, promise. But no, that's what people, they're different. I mean, the amount of pieces and influence that a place like Wildwood has had on the industry as a whole it's huge, and I always say this when people ask me about them, they're as honest as the day is long. If the guitar is not the right fit for you, it probably they won't sell it to you, which I like that. We do the same thing. We're kind of idiots.
Kind of dumb.
I often say like we're terrible business people. Somebody wanted to sell us an old vintage Gibson sort of. I was like, I wouldn't sell this to us because this is what I got to offer you. And she said, oh, that seems pretty good. I'm like, no, it's worth more emotionally, I think, to you.
Right.
Than I can offer you, and then we'll sell it for a profit. Here's the profit we'll make on it, hopefully, and we explain that to people. But anyway, back to these shops. They have staffs of 20 and up. The ones below it, we're looking more like we're a small team. We run nimble. It's like 5 full-time guys of us that just hang out and talk guitars all day. But like when you get in God, when we were at Chuck Levin's, like hundreds of people there.
Right.
But they have a whole B&O
thing, yeah.
band and orchestra again, and all sorts of stuff. So but they've reached a point where but all these shops I know, which is cool because we've been to all these places. I've been to all of them. And when we walked into CME and we started meeting everybody, they're still guitar nuts.
Right.
It's not SKUs, it's not products, it's not just moving line through items and just getting out to the next thing. There's obviously business behind it all, but we would all be like, you could ask them, what's your favorite guitar? And they would all have one.
Yeah.
We do that too, and we'll find what's the favorite one in the shop right now, and then what's the worst one, and we'll find. I picked out the one at CME. It was great. It was like a John Lennon acoustic. It sounded like somebody had taken a guitar that sounded good and put it underwater and kept it there while I played it. It was so bad, it was great. I kind of like that moment.
That's good.
Okay, what about the bigs now?
The chains.
Chain smokers have attacked us here.
Stores.
Yeah, so who's the biggest here?
Well,
Dun, dun, dun.
there's obviously Guitar Center.
Yes, I mean that's the biggest of the chain stores.
Yeah.
There was a Sam Ash for a long time. God rest their soul, they're gone, and wish them well. Whatever.
Yes.
All the family there. Guitar Center has hundreds of shops across the country.
Right.
They also have that little thing called Music and Arts.
They do.
Which is sort of their lessons and sort of entry-level type shop, just to kind of steer you into the game. There's Musician's Friend that connects to the Guitar Center. And then we have Sweetwater,
Right.
the other behemoth. These,
Not really a chain, but
no, it's the behemoth.
everywhere.
Though.
Yeah.
I mean, because Sweetwater has 1 unit, whereas Guitar Center has, more than 2. Hundreds. And Music and Arts, tons, like all across the country. Like that's the old school format. Like spread big boxes out everywhere. It's great because you have a presence of local guitar shops you can go to. I like that. Like our Guitar Center in Raleigh is actually pretty good now.
It is.
So I was there just a couple weeks ago with Derek.
Yeah.
No, I was with Sean too.
Sean.
I went with Derek a few months ago, and then Sean went a few weeks ago, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, because we had somebody in town. We had Zach in town. That's what it was. But no, it was cool. They'd restocked it, and it's not. I hope that comes back to be what it used to be.
Yeah.
You know.
That'd be cool.
Now Sweetwater is a different thing altogether. It's one thing, an online monster and megalopolis that they sell so many things. I think they were selling 1,000 guitars a day.
Whew.
At one point during the peak of COVID sales.
That's a lot.
1,000 guitars a day. Let's like wrap your head around that number. Now these aren't custom shops. These are Squires and other things that are entry level, but oh my goodness.
I mean, still, that's just the thinking about just to move those, to pack them, to ship them. You know, that's a lot of people.
Well, I mean, you worked in like in Guitar Center. What was your job in the warehouse?
Well, I did a lot of the cycle counts, but I mean, when you're in the warehouse, you do all that stuff. So there's definitely some shipping involved and all that.
But man, you were in charge of like inventory a lot.
I did a lot of inventory. Yeah.
Seeing that, like the inventory management system of Sweetwater and their allocation and shipping is unbelievable. We have a whole video on it. Just go back on our channel and check it out. We did a whole tour on Sweetwater. The operation's second to none. I mean, where it gets lost a little bit is that it could be a guitar, it could be a washing machine.
Right.
It could be, because you got a Casio next to a Gibson custom shop.
Yeah.
Next to, not a pack of strings, they're in a different section. But it's just, you can't be as passionate about things at that scale. It's just not possible.
Well, I mean, even in Guitar Center in the warehouse, right? Like the people there were passionate about stuff. But when the little order came in, because in Guitar Center at that time, there was no like centralized warehouse, right? Like, so if the order comes in and we're the closest, we go get it, package it. And it's just a list of things. You just have to go out and grab them and get them. And there's not as much time for that attention to detail like maybe you'd want to do. But it's just got to work. It's just got to flow.
Well, who fits in this group too would be like Thoman over in Europe. Yeah. And like I guess
it's like Longham Quaid and just Canada.
Yeah. Would GAC in UK be part of this? Because I look at Andertons and Peach as like the group before this.
The like key account,
the key indies, like the ones.
I don't know.
I was hoping. Side note, 'cause we're pretty much done at this point. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Click like and subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Okay. Anyway, I've been trying to get Oasis tickets and part of the fun is that I'm gonna go see Andertons and Peach because it's all in the UK. There's the Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England, like all the different shows. I was in the whole queue disaster, the Ticketmaster thing. I was up at 2 a.m. getting ready for the lottery. I got in queue, I got through. I just couldn't get the tickets because it just canceled. I was there for like all day. I tried for like 7 hours. While I was at work, I was still trying. James and Dylan, like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. It's important work stuff. Leave me alone. But so if any of you have scored tickets and you don't want to go at any of the shows in there, let me know. Reach out and we'll have a conversation. It could be a lot of fun. I know they're opening 2 more dates to Wembley.
There you go.
As well. I tried to get on the list for that. I don't know if I can because I'm not UK.
I didn't know that there was like a debacle.
There was a whole debacle. And then
that fill me in after this.
That weird pricing thing happened as well.
Whatever it's called.
What's it called, Derek?
Dynamic pricing.
I can't remember that word. It's like certain people's names I just lose. But yeah, that happened. Anyway, I would love to go see those shops again. Yeah, beautiful places. I think we're done. I hope you enjoyed this. It's kind of a walk down guitar shop lane of and don't get me wrong, the greatest, the biggest ones, Sweetwater and Thoman, amazing things. But sometimes the most fun's going to be at a basic pawn shop right around the corner, right next to like a taco food truck.
Heck yeah.
And you're gonna find some great toys, meet some great people,
and have a taco.
Johnny, you good?
I'm good.
Good to have tacos now?
Yes.
Thanks again for joining us. Peace be with you all. And to all,